Most people have no idea what their net worth actually is, not even a rough guess. And that's not an accident. Nobody teaches this. Not in school, not at work, not at home. But here's the thing. Your net worth isn't just a number, it's a scoreboard. And where you sit on that scoreboard determines more about your life than your salary, your job title, or how expensive your car is. Today we're walking through every level. From zero, nothing in the bank, nothing to your name, all the way up to $10 million. And I want you to find yourself in this video. Because wherever you are right now, what comes next will change everything. Let's go. This is where most people start. And more people stay here than you'd think. Zero net worth doesn't mean you're broke. It means everything you own is canceled out by everything you owe. Your car is worth $8,000, but you owe $9,000 on it. Your savings account has $400, but your credit card has $600 on it. You're at zero. Technically, life at zero feels like a treadmill. You're working, you're earning, but you're not going anywhere. Every paycheck gets eaten, rent, bills, minimum payments, food, and then it starts all over again. The stress is constant. Not loud, screaming stress, just this low hum in the background of everything. A quiet anxiety that follows you into every purchase, every night out, every swipe of the card. You don't feel poor, but you don't feel free either. The trap at zero is lifestyle. Most people living here aren't spending recklessly. They're just spending everything they make. And the gap between making money and keeping money never gets built. One emergency, a car repair, a medical bill, a surprise expense, and you're not at zero anymore. You're negative. This is the level most financial advice is written for. And almost none of it actually helps because the problem isn't information, it's margin. There's no room to breathe. $1,000, it sounds like nothing, but this is actually one of the most important milestones in the entire journey because at $1,000 something shifts. You have a buffer, a tiny one, but real. If your tire blows out, you don't have to panic. If your phone dies, you don't have to put it on a credit card. You can handle small emergencies without creating new debt. That feeling is underrated. Most people who've been at zero don't realize how much mental energy they've been spending on small financial fires until those fires stop happening. At $1,000, you're not investing yet. You're not growing wealth. You're just stable. And stable is the foundation everything else gets built on. The mistake people make at this level is treating that $1,000 like spending money the second it's there. The number shows up in the account and the brain says, reward, new shoes, weekend trip, just this once. Don't touch it. Let it be boring. That's the whole point. $1,000 isn't wealth, but it's proof you can do this. And proof matters more than people think. $10,000 in net worth is where things start to feel real. This might be $10,000 in savings. It might be $6,000 saved in a car you actually own outright. It might be a small investment account that you've been quietly building for a year. However you got here, you're no longer just surviving. At $10,000, you start thinking differently about money. You check your account less out of anxiety and more out of curiosity. You start learning. Compound interest stops being an abstract concept and starts being something you actually care about. The psychology here is powerful. You have something to protect, and that changes how you spend. People at this level often start making their first real investing moves. A Roth IRA, an index fund, some stocks, nothing massive, but the habit is forming. And the habit is more important than the amount. What holds people back at $10,000 is comparison. You look around at people buying houses, driving new cars, going on vacations, and $10,000 feels small. It feels invisible. It's not. $10,000 invested at 8% for 30 years becomes $100,000. It's not the destination, it's the seed. Plant it and leave it alone. $50,000. This is where the average American will never reach. Let that land. The median net worth of Americans under 35 is around $39,000. Most of that is tied up in a car or a retirement account they can't touch. Liquid, accessible, growing wealth at $50,000 puts you ahead of the majority of people your age. Life at $50,000 feels qualitatively different, not rich, not even close, but noticeably less fragile. You can handle a real emergency, job loss for a couple months, a major home repair, a health issue. You have options, and options are what money actually buys. The trap at $50,000 is lifestyle inflation. You feel comfortable enough to upgrade, nicer apartment, better car, more dinners out. And slowly, quietly, the gap between what you earn and what you keep starts to shrink again. The people who blow past $50,000 are the ones who live like they're still at $10,000. Not out of misery, but because they've realized that the feeling of freedom comes from the number growing, not from spending it down. At $50,000, you're also starting to see the real power of compound interest. Your investments are generating returns that are actually meaningful. You didn't do anything, your money did. That's the game. And you're starting to win it. $100,000. This is the milestone that changes everything. Not because of what $100,000 buys, but because of what $100,000 earns. At 8% average market returns, $100,000 generates $8,000 a year without you lifting a finger. That's $667 a month. That's a car payment, a cheap rent, a real contribution to your life. You're not living off it. But it's working while you sleep, while you're at the gym, while you're on vacation. Getting to $100,000 is hard. It takes years of discipline, delayed gratification, saying no to things you actually wanted. But something weird happens when you cross that line. The next $100,000 comes faster, way faster. Because you're not just saving anymore. Compound interest has become a genuine contributor. The math shifts. The machine starts feeding itself. Emotionally, life at $100,000 feels like breathing room. Real breathing room. Not just surviving emergencies, actually making choices. Whether to take a lower paying job you love, whether to take a year and figure yourself out, whether to take a risk on something you've always wanted to try. Money doesn't buy happiness. But $100,000 buys options, and options are the closest thing to freedom that exists. $250,000. Here's a number most people don't know. $250,000 is mathematically halfway to $1 million. Not in dollars, in time. Because of compounding, someone at $250,000 growing at 8% will hit $1 million in about 18 years without adding another cent. That fact alone should stop you in your tracks. At $250,000, you are not just building wealth, you are watching wealth build itself. Life here starts to feel structurally different. Your investment income is no longer a rounding error. It's a real number, real enough to notice, real enough to change decisions. People at this level often experience what I'd call the confidence shift. They stop asking, can I afford this? And start asking, is this the best use of this money? It's a subtle change. But it completely rewires how you interact with money. The risk at $250,000 is getting conservative. You've worked hard to get here. You don't want to lose it, so some people pull back. Park the money somewhere safe, stop investing aggressively, let inflation quietly eat into it. That's the wrong move. At $250,000, your job is to stay invested, stay consistent, and let time do what time does. The machine is running. Don't unplug it. $500,000. You are now in the top 20% of American households by net worth. Let that be real for a second. At $500,000, the math becomes almost impossible to ignore. At 8% returns, you're generating $40,000 a year in investment growth. That's a part-time salary, and you didn't work a single hour for it. Your money is now officially working harder than most people you know. Life at $500,000 isn't flashy. The people who reach this level often don't look like they have $500,000. They drive normal cars, they cook at home. They've been doing the same boring things for 15 years, and the boring things compounded. What changes is internal. The anxiety that's lived in the background since your 20s gets quieter. Not gone, but quieter. You start making decisions from a place of security instead of scarcity. You're not financially free yet, but you are financially dangerous in the best way. The $1 million mark. This is the number everyone talks about, the cultural finish line, the thing people dream about, and here's the truth. It's better than zero, but it's not what you think. $1 million at 8% generates $80,000 a year. Comfortable, but not lavish. Not in 2026 in most cities. Not if you have a family, a mortgage, healthcare costs. What $1 million really is proof. Proof that the system works. Proof that ordinary people doing ordinary things consistently over a long time can build extraordinary outcomes. The millionaires in America aren't mostly celebrities and CEOs. They're teachers who never spent their raises, postal workers who maxed their 401ks, small business owners who reinvested instead of upgraded. They look like everyone else. They just played a different game. At $1 million, you could retire simply. You could step back from full-time work. You could take massive risks on something you believe in because you have a floor beneath you. Most people who hit $1 million don't stop here. They keep going, not out of greed, but out of momentum. The habits that got them here don't turn off. The machine keeps running. $5 million. At this level, work is genuinely optional, not I could retire if I wanted to optional. Actually optional. The returns from $5 million at even a conservative 5% is $250,000 a year. After taxes, that's more than most people earn at any job. Life at $5 million is defined by one thing: time. You have it back. You can wake up and choose what to do with your day, not what do I have to do, what do I want to do. That distinction is one of the most significant things money can buy, and most people never experience it. The interesting thing about this level is that the people who reach it rarely got here trying to get here. They got obsessed with building something, a business, a portfolio, a career, and the money was the byproduct. Chasing money to this level almost never works. Building something of real value almost always does. At $5 million, your financial game has changed. It's not about growth anymore, it's about preservation and purpose. What do you do with a life that doesn't have to be about survival? That question's harder than it sounds. $10 million. The top 1% starts around $11 million in net worth. So you're knocking on that door. At $10 million, money stops being a variable. It becomes a constant. The conversation shifts entirely. It's no longer how do I build wealth? It's how do I protect it, deploy it, and pass it on. Estate planning, tax strategy, generational wealth, charitable giving. These become real conversations, not abstract ones. What's genuinely surprising about this level is how few people here feel rich. Studies show that no matter what someone has, the feeling of enough keeps moving. The person at $10 million compares themselves to the person at $50 million. The person at $50 million looks at the billionaire. The hedonic treadmill doesn't stop at $10 million. The only way to win that game is to opt out. The people who are genuinely happy at this level are the ones who figured out what they wanted before they got here. They have a reason beyond money, a mission, a family, a craft, something that makes Tuesday morning meaningful regardless of what's in the account. Money amplifies. If you're happy, it makes you happier. If you're empty, it makes you emptier. $10 million is the ceiling of this video, but it's not the ceiling of this lesson. So what actually separates the people who stay at zero from the people who reach $1 million, or $5 million, or 10? It's not income. There are people earning $250,000 a year with a net worth of zero. And there are people who made $50,000 their whole career and retired with $1 million. The difference is three things. One, the gap. The space between what you earn and what you keep. Every level we covered, the people who moved forward were protecting that gap. Not obsessing over it, just protecting it. 2. Time in the market, not timing the market, time in it. The people at $5 million and $10 million didn't get there by picking stocks or chasing trends. They got there by starting early, staying in, and not panicking when things got ugly. 3. Not inflating with income. Every raise is an opportunity to get ahead. Most people use it to upgrade their life instead. The ones who win treat every raise the same way. half lifestyle, half future. Every time, without fail. Your net worth is not a verdict, it's a snapshot. And the only thing that matters is whether the snapshot next year looks better than the one today. Start there. If you're somewhere in this video, whether you're at $0 or $50,000 or somewhere in between, just know that every single person you saw at $1 million started exactly where you are. The only difference is they didn't stop. If this hit home, subscribe. We cover the money stuff nobody else wants to say out loud. And if you want to see exactly how life changes when you hit $100,000 for the first time, that video is right there. Watch it next. See you there.